The syndromes of patriarchy. Violence against women in the guise of self-proclaimed norms by religious fanatics has been a staple strategy applied by all religions and states for eons. The gross violation of human rights in Afghanistan is watched by an audience worldwide as media brings us probably the most visually well documented series of crimes against women in broad daylight. This research aims to highlight the continuous crippling and weakening of a section of society across the globe by denying them basic human rights and stifling their voices with force and power in times of war and in times of peace. The legacy that is handed through centuries and shamefully continues even as we enter the 21st century. The hijab row takes center stage in the Indian subcontinent as yet another grim reminder of the fact that women have no right over their attire or attitude and will always be the target of the patriarchal system. Denied basic rights in education and healthcare and facing biases in almost all walks of life, both the Hindu and the Islamist patriarchy have reigned supreme in the Indian subcontinent. What begins at birth follows the girl to the grave, a series of unfortunate events translating through incest, poverty, illiteracy, malnutrition, menstrual shame, body shame, age shame, and overall apathy, and a total disregard for the womb that gives birth to the transgressor himself. Gender pay gap is the largest issue today and remains unresolved even as the Western world embarks on many crusades against the third world countries and their gender-based social norms. The pathos that remains unaltered through history is the suffering of women in Afghanistan. As the horrific images of the Taliban takeover splash all over media reaches us, it is indeed heart-wrenching as we can only comprehend the cold dread and fear that must have engulfed all the women in that cursed land. 1st of February is the World Hijab Day. It is making millions of women and little girls roam lifelong inside black tents in the name of modesty. As Islamist men launch many a marketing campaign upholding this atrocity as a free choice, women across countries are being subjected to lashes, public beating, acid attacks, execution, and honor killing for not wearing it. While men in the secular nation currently proclaimed the rape capital of the world has a radical approach to women's attire. Empowerment can mean different things to different people, especially for women across the globe who unite in their fight against injustice. 23 million women drop out of school in India as they struggle with basic sanitation and menstrual hygiene and are denied their right to education. Menstruation is a biological function, is shrouded in taboo and leads to further gender bias, disempowering women in rural India. 30% of the country's population is menstruating women, and many mothers lack awareness and perpetuate a legacy of shame and denial. A vast majority of women suffer from mental, emotional, and spiritual suffering colliding between expectations and reality. Changing times. It is time to change the narrative, time to change the equation as a new world order emerges in the existing chaos. We see a glimmer of hope as we see the younger generation of both men and women who are sensitized choice makers and will not settle for a world with disorder and disparity. Gender inclusivity is the loudest conversation today on all forums, beginning at the grassroots level of schools and continuing to universities of higher learning. The open forum cannot stifle the voices of both boys and girls who no longer want to fight or fit into the traditional norms, be it of religion, sexuality, or politics. The fight is no longer a fight against men, but against the theories of patriarchy as the brothers and fathers and husbands try to empower the women in their lives with compassion and empathy. What needs to be done to ensure that women are the center of public and economic life, to give them a life of equal opportunities, freedom, and dignity, add up to substantial challenges as a list of wrongdoings is a long written over centuries of strategic patriarchal agendas which have seeped into the core of our very existence. The lessons of patriarchy are being erased by a new wave of generation demanding a gender neutral world. A new system of education that benefits the human species irrespective of gender roles and will extend their knowledge of existence as we embark on another century, a century of hope, equality, and perhaps a new world order.